Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Memorial Field and some high school Division I tennis here today as the Concord High boys team takes on the visiting Tomahawks of Merrimack High School. Dave Page along with Jacob Dussault here and bringing you some exciting high school action today as the Crimson Tide have put together some nice wins in the recent past and are looking to sustain their momentum today against Merrimack, a team that's looking for its first win on the season. We are going to be looking at the first two singles courts. There are 5 courts here at Memorial Field that we'll be using, and the 6th singles match will start at the conclusion of one of the earlier matches. So there will be 5 matches simultaneously, and we will be having the video for both courts 1 and 2. Just to give you the lineups quickly as the players are warming up. Number 1, on the left-hand side of your screen as you see it, senior Carter Pratt, the Concord High captain, is facing Merrimack's Mikhail Agapov. Looks like maybe an exchange student there, so always a challenging matchup. On court 2, Concord's got Piper Cooper, a junior in his first year of varsity tennis, taking on Merrimack's Jeremy Nigan. So those will be the 2 matches that we will be focusing on. But just to give you the other matchups, currently in play on court 3, Concord's Martin Pennington is facing Merrimack's Wayne Alexander. It looks like they're just getting underway. On court 4, Carl Siriana of the Crimson Tide facing Nithin Satapan of Merrimack. And on court 5, down on the far end near the softball and Little League diamonds, Concord has player Oliver Quinn, for the Crimson Tide, and Phil and Lucas Goldberg will be his opponent for Merrimack. Court 6 on the first available court will be Weston Korber for Concord and Felix Rotunde for Merrimack. So we're looking forward to some exciting high school tennis today, and we'll pick up the video once the matches begin. All right, back at Memorial Field as the Concord Merrimack boys tennis match is underway. On court 1, Carter Pratt is in the opening game against Mikhail Agapov, and there with a nice drop shot, which his opponent was unable to counter as the Merrimack player is serving. On court 2 on the right-hand side, Piper Cooper of the Crimson Tide dropped the opening game to the serve of his Merrimack opponent, and now he's serving to try to even the score. So beautiful day here at the field, very warm and no wind, which is a rarity. So we're sure that'll enable the kids to all play their best tennis. Good serve there from Agapov on court 1, and Carter Pratt just a little bit handcuffed with that backhand return. So a quick hold of serve for Agapov, and they'll switch sides as they do after the odd games. Down in court 2, Piper Cooper displaying some nice footwork, covering the court well laterally, but then just missed a ground stroke reply beyond the baseline, and point goes to Merrimack. Carter Pratt, meanwhile, on court 1, embarking upon his first service game of the match. At this point, Merrimack leading both matches, but they are on serve with the Crimson Tide players at the ready. Pratt with a little bit of a faulty toss there, resulting in a double fault. But responds quickly with a service winner. Boy, that is a terrific first serve from Piper Cooper. Saw him working prior to the match with Concord assistant coach Richie Clark on his first serve, and it's paying dividends right there as a tough slice into the body, and the Merrimack player had nowhere to put that return. That is a nice, aggressive backhand approach shot from Carter Pratt, whose backhand is really his big weapon, and he showed it there. And a little bit of a misfire on that second serve, and it looks like they're back to deuce. Meanwhile, Cooper, with some real nice patience, has won a long rally on court 2 to hold serve and even the score at 1. Oh, an unfortunate toss there from Carter, and he'll be looking at a break point. But he's saved them before already today, and looking to do the same here. That is a great second serve, right on the back of the service line, and Agapov could do nothing with it. Back to deuce in this important first service game. Meanwhile, Cooper is drawing a number of errors with his patient style, not doing a whole lot with the ball, making his opponent beat himself, which in high school tennis is usually a very successful strategy. Absolutely. Yeah, the points are long on court 2, Jacob, absolutely. And whereas on court 1, you'll see a little bit more power generally. And they're still looking to find the range in terms of consistency, I think, on both ends. There's a nice forehand from Carter, and opens up the backhand side of Agapov, and the slice goes wide, and Carter Pratt with a big hold here has evened the score at 1-all. You never want to get too far behind in a match, Jake, and especially with an 8-game pro set, that can go quickly if you start badly, and absolutely. There's a good shot from Nigan on court 2, and Cooper, in a sportsman-like gesture, gives him the thumbs up, indicating that the ball was in. Meanwhile, on court one, Agapov showing some nice pace on his first serve. These teams have played already earlier this year. Concord High came out on the winning end by an 8-1 count, I believe, and Pratt and Agapov played a very close match, which was won by the Tomahawk. But Carter's certainly looking to reverse the score today on his home courts at Memorial Field. Oh, that's a great get by Cooper on the drop shot, and moved his opponent out wide and had an easy volley just to put into the open court. He didn't try to overplay it, just blocked it nicely. That's beautiful movement around the court.
It's a good way to hide his strategy.
Yeah, very, very well disguised. Oh, looks like a good return from Pratt. Handcuffed his opponent. Meanwhile, Cooper hits a forehand wide and draws the error again from Nigan, who's having a little trouble keeping that forehand in play. And once again, consistent play from tied number 2 Piper Cooper has drawn an error, and he won both games on that rotation, and he's gone up 2-1 as Carter Pratt also was able to break serve. There's some double faults from his opponent, and the Tide leading both courts now 2-1 as we look around the grounds. On the changeover, Martin Pennington of Concord leading in the number 3 match, also 2-1. Carlos Siriana is down a game, but it looks like they're still on serve, 1-2, and Oliver Quinn is off to a flying start on his opponent on court 5, leading 3-love. And just puts a strong volley winner away there, and we are back on court 1 with Carter Pratt, Mikhail Agapov of the Merrimack Tomahawks. Meanwhile, on court 2, Piper Cooper is talking to Tide assistant Richie Clark on the changeover. And Richie draws a smile out of his protege, which is always good to see from a coaching standpoint. Meanwhile, Kevin Parsons, the Tide head coach, is down on the lower courts managing those 3 matches. And Concord off to a good start so far, and we're certainly hoping it continues here. Oh, that is a nice winning lob from Cooper off a short second serve. Opponent doesn't seem particularly comfortable at the net, and he recognized that and threw one up into the clouds, and the opponent didn't even chase it.
He has a good instinct for initiative.
Carter Pratt with a nice first serve into the sun, and could not be returned by Agapov. All right, Carter with a smart decision there, catching the errant toss, and fires in another big first serve. As the players rally with some skilled play, and the short ball, I think, may have caught Carter by surprise, and he pushed his reply wide. Oh, that's a strong serve there from Pratt again. And, opponent cut a little bit of a break there with a mishit ball, and was able to secure the put away on the next point, on the next shot. As caught Carter by surprise. Carter deserved better fate on that point after setting up the point so nicely. Pratt taking the ball early there, but a little too much spin maybe put on it by the Merrimack player Agapov, and handcuffed Carter, and wants to take his time here on this important break point, or what we believe to be a break point. That's a nice first serve that results. And again, Agapov venturing to the net, and it paid off for him as Carter netted the forehand, and we are back even, 2-all. This has the makings of a barn burner, and certainly I know it would mean a lot to Carter, who's a really hard worker, to come out and end up beating an opponent that had defeated him earlier in the season. It's always really meaningful when you can do that as a tennis player. That's a nice ball with a lot of spin, and got Agapov up over the shoulder, and he hits with a lot of slice, so he wasn't able to contain his accuracy there.
Between Concord's two fast runners, they both seem to have good starts when they're serving.
I know Concord has been working a lot on the serve with Kevin Parsons and Richie Clark, and you can really see the development of the kids, the evolution of their serves from just putting it in play into, at least on the first serve, to a little bit more of a weapon. So that is always great to see, and it'll be important going forward. A few clouds moving in here at Memorial Field, but I don't think any rain is in the forecast. So, Jake, it looks like we're going to get this match in. Merrimack number 2, Nigan, may have been attempting to draw some rain on that high backhand, but ended up falling just short and going into the net, giving Cooper an important point. Oh, got the roll on the second serve, and he'll have another. Baseline rally on court 2. And Cooper saw an opening and maybe just a tad impatient as he went for the down the line winner. But he'll reset quickly, go right back at him. Meanwhile, Martin Pennington in the lead, 3-2 on court 3. Carlos Siriana again down a game but on serve, 2-3 on court 4. And Oliver Quinn is doing a number on his Tomahawk opponent, 5-love already down on court 5. Just showing the depth that is really Concord High's hallmark this year. That's a great get from Cooper at the back of the court, and then quickly again counters with a winning lob. That is extremely good footwork and consistent play. Meanwhile, on court 1, Agapov of the Tomahawks held serve, and Carter Pratt is up to the line on the far end, down 2-3, but again on serve. And they have a nice long rally there. Pratt pokes the lob attempt just long, and Agapov once again coming to the net with success. You don't often see a lot of high school kids comfortable at the net these days, and his ability to venture forward is paying dividends. See if Carter's got a counter for that.
I would say the problem with Carter is that him and his opponent are very, very close as far as skill and agility and being able to be aggressive and defensive when possible. So they're very neck and neck.
Absolutely. This match could go either way. Meanwhile, Cooper's building a little bit of a cushion on court 2, but the rallies are long as both players move well on the court. Court 1, meanwhile, Carter a little bit frustrated there as I think he may have lost serve. So that puts Agapov up 4-2.
Hopefully he'll find a way to get back.
Yeah, I think he can. Absolutely. If he takes his time, maybe put some pressure on his opponent, maybe mix a few lobs in. Agapov is very, very tight to the net when he comes in, and I think he's vulnerable there. Nice second serve from the Merrimack player, but Carter Pratt with a terrific inside-out backhand return for a forced error from the Tomahawk. Love 15. This is an important game, Jake. You don't want to get behind by 3 games here in the middle of the match. And, so 4-3 versus 5-2, that's a huge difference. And so Carter's going to, I'm sure, play his returns in a high percentage manner this game. And again, a terrific backhand return. Carter just unleashing that two-hander down the line. And love 30 now with Agapov serving. Nice overhead winner from Martin Pennington on court 3 as he has now extended his lead to 5-2. This time Agapov with an unreturnable serve, and it's now 15-30. This is the first serve, and this will be an important second serve here. A nice deep one, and got Carter going backwards, perhaps surprised by the depth of that second serve. And 30 all.
Perhaps he wasn't anticipating it. Well,
That's a good second serve from Agapov. Oh, and he had been having success coming in, and I don't know if he picked the right ball to come in on there. It was a little too deep and kind of short hopped him, and he missed his next shot. So Carter Pratt, with an important break of serve, has drawn to within 3-4 now here in the middle of the match. They play 8-game pro sets, first to 8 with a 2-game margin and a tiebreaker if the score reaches 8 games all. Piper Cooper and Nigan from Merrimack with some extremely long rallies, and looks like a narrow miss by Nigan there.
Yeah, both of their strategies seem very consistent in trying to get as many patient but long shots as possible.
Yep, very consistent play out of both players, and on court one, a little bit more pace of shot. As Carter Pratt quickly back up to the line, he is not one to waste a lot of time in between points or even games, and both players really hitting the ball nicely there, and Carter draws an error off of the Agapov forehand.
Very good trade-off between the both of them.
Meanwhile, Cooper on court two with a rare forehand error caused by his opponent, who landed that ball very close to the baseline. Pratt, meanwhile, back up to the line, and just didn't quite convert on that toss. A double fault. Cooper with a nice shot, drawing some applause from the crowd at Memorial Field. Larger crowd than we have had often to date this spring, but such a nice spring day. Great to see so many people out here. That's a big first serve from Carter Pratt. And he's dictating play with his forehand, and again keeping the ball deep with some pace. Draws the error from Agapov. Nice second serve there. And Carter got a short ball and went for it. You like to see that. Looking to take the offensive, but found the top of the tape. I think it may be advantage Merrimack. That's a good second serve. But backhand just goes a little bit astray. And
Both players playing really well today.
it is a quality high school match there, and competitive on just about every court. Oliver Quinn now leading 7-love though on court 5, and you may be expecting the number 6 players to be warming up soon on that court if form holds. Cooper draws an error on court 2. And they have not switched sides in some time here. The Cards still at 2-1. I think they are now in the 5th game, but it has gone on, just indicative of the competitive nature of the match.
It's very much a back and forward.
Back to court 1 now, and Agapov approaches the net again. Carter Pratt missing the passing shot, and once again, you want to make your opponent volley the ball up there. Not always the strength of high school tennis players, and just a little bit inaccurate with that passing shot, but he'll get it together. However, that was break point, and so Merrimack has a 5-3 lead. Meanwhile, Oliver Quinn with an 8-0 thrashing of his opponent on court 5, and they are already coming off the court. Always nice, Jake, to have an early point in the bank, especially when the other courts are close.
Yeah, it looks like court 3 is very close. And court 4 and our court 1 are pretty neck and neck right now.
Court 4, Carl Siriana has gotten his nose out in front by a count of 4-3, and looks like he's moving his feet well, bouncing up and down on the return to serve, and so we will update the fans, I'm sure, on that match as time goes on. On court 3, Martin Pennington has run out to a 7-2 lead after the early part of the match was very competitive, but as you watch there, that may have been all she wrote, with Pennington drawing a mistake from the backhand, and Martin has won 8-2. So Concord High now with 2 team points on the scoreboard, and Merrimack still looking for their first. Ties Weston Corbers now working his way down to court 5 for the number 6 match. And we will update the folks on that match once they get started. Meanwhile, back to court 1. Agapov serving to Carter Pratt, up 5-3. Piper Cooper with a big ace. Look like something you might see on the tour there, with Nigan just unable to even get his racket on the ball. And Cooper is leading 4-1, but those last 2 games, Jake, really could have gone either way. Let's see if he's able to stretch out his lead now. Back to court 1. Carter Pratt with what looks to be a gigantic backhand return winner. Not sure what the call was, but I didn't see a signal of any kind. I'm assuming it was good. And in any event, we're about to find out, because they're switching sides. And that does give him a much-needed break of serve, pulling him to within 4-5. And he will be serving now from the far end when play resumes. But Richie Clark, Concord assistant coach, is currently going to take some time to talk it over with Carter. And that's good to see. Richie played on some very successful Concord High teams, and has a strong technical knowledge and a good way of connecting with the kids. Action on court 2. While the coaches consult with both of the court 1 players, Cooper draws a missed forehand from Nigan. And again, both players consistent, but Cooper just a little more so thus far. Oh, there goes the lob again. Nigan in hot pursuit, and really does a nice job hustling to get his racket on the ball, but he can't control the reply, and it's another lob winner for Cooper. And again, just very smart play. Notices his opponent is maybe getting a little too close to the net when he comes in, and just goes very nice control. So really seems to be able to work a match and take advantage of his opponent's weaknesses.
Trying to be very concise with every hit of his racket.
As we see on court 4, Carl Siriana has notched 2 consecutive games and gone up 6-3 as Kevin Parsons and Richie Clark giving him some love at the back of the court. Some good energy there all the way around. As Concord High really starting to make some adjustments, and they're paying off in this match, which is very competitive, Jake, in the early stages. But Concord has pulled ahead on many of the courts now.
Currently have a 2-point lead. Very good. But as we've said before, it's a very close neck-and-neck performance between both Merrimack and Concord. So
Certainly, absolutely. Certainly can't afford to take anything for granted. And when you get a nice lead like this, you really want to slam the door. As Cooper doing just that with a forehand blast that Nigan was unable to control. And they may be switching sides again as Piper with some real impressive play in that rotation. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's now up 6-1. And indeed, that's what the cards show. That the folks at home can see. Nice to see those crimson numbers on the upper end. Sorry. Meanwhile, back to Carter Pratt, which this looks like the most hotly contested of the early singles matches here. Pratt and Mikhail Agapov of the Tomahawks. And I did not see who won that last point. Jake, did you catch that? Whether Carter? So it's either 6-4 or 5-all. Service game did not go on very long, and I hope that was a good thing for Carter, as he's able to get a nice down-the-line backhand, and Agapov nets the forehand reply. So that's a good start to what is undoubtedly an important game here for Carter Pratt, the Tide senior captain. Agapov will be serving a love 15. Cooper in another long rally. Carter Pratt with a real nice sliced forehand, using the wind to his advantage. Has got a quick love 30 here on the Agapov serve. Concord and Merrimack here at Memorial Field. Beautiful spring day, and Concord with a 2-love lead on the team score with three matches still ongoing, 4 matches still ongoing in singles play, and we'll have 3 doubles after that. Agapov with a good deep serve. Now approaches the net. Oh, and Carter lofts it over his shoulder and just inside the baseline. That's a terrific shot at a key moment. And that was enough for a break of serve for Carter Pratt, it looks like. Unless there's some issue we're not aware of. Nope, now they're changing sides. And again, a split leaves Agapov up 6-5. So in an 8-game set, Carter is going to need to hold serve in one of these upcoming games, and in order to stay alive. Over on court 2, another long rally. Cooper dictating play with his forehand and just finds the top of the net with that one. Carter Pratt with a big service game coming up here. 5 serving 6, and Richie Clark taking a little bit of extra time with him, as well he should at such an important juncture in this match. Carter is serving into the sun. May be difficult for the fans at home to see, but that sun at Memorial Field can be really challenging, especially at this time of day when it's starting to, go down just a little bit. And Carter, unfortunately, fell victim to that. But it looks like he comes back nicely with what looks to be a service winner. The sun can really be an issue here. But it's nice to see it out nonetheless after so many rainy days.
Absolutely.
And Carter just missing wide with that passing shot as Agapov once again approaching the net with abandon. And Carter just missing. You could really see him squinting on that one, and it's tough to toss the ball effectively when you're looking into the sun.
Yeah, definitely amping up the difficulty in this match.
And Cooper drawing a forehand long from Nigan. Looks like he's got the advantage there. Carter with a great serve there. Nice serve out wide, and good to see the opponent giving him the benefit of the doubt on a close call, too. Not always a given in high school tennis. Carter, see if he's got a nice second serve in store for Agapov. He does indeed. Oh, he deserved a better fate there. Just a completely mishit return into the very uppermost portion of the court, and Carter could do nothing there. Did well to even get as close as he did to it. So that's a tough break after a real nice second serve. Agapov now up 7-5, and he comes up with an ace of his own there. So as the match lengthens, both men are really upping the ante on their serves. 15-love. And there Here's a missed forehand, and nice point from Carter. Gets back to 15 all. Meanwhile, Cooper in a fast exchange at the net, showing some good hands and nice wheels to get that lob back. And that is one of the best points of the day right there. And appropriately enough, it came as match point and gives Concord the win, 8-1, as Piper Cooper, with consistent play, excellent footwork, recording a point for the Crimson Tide.
Did a really good job.
So Concord now up 3-love, with half of the singles matches now completed. Carter Pratt looking to lengthen his match now. And that was difficult with a lot of backspin on that ball, which did not give Carter the bounce he was expecting. Agapov now looking at a second serve. And Carter just missing the return. And that is it. Agapov with an 8-5 win against Concord's Carter Pratt in a well-played #1 singles match here at Memorial Field. So Merrimack has its first point of the day, and score now 3-1 Concord High with 2 singles matches remaining to be played. And I think Carl Siriana has just wrapped up his on court 4, as the Merrimack player is walking off the court, and the Concord players enjoying a moment, and so that has given Concord High an important 4th point, which gives them the chance to wrap up the team result in singles play if Weston Korber can defeat his opponent on court 6. So it looks like, Jake, we've got some bonus coverage for the folks here, as Korber is taking on Felix Rotundi of Merrimack. Currently up 3-love on the most recent changeover. We'll get to take a look at Weston here, who has stepped into the lineup following the departure of a teammate to a study abroad program in Israel. So Concord High has clearly got a lot of depth in that lineup, and they're putting it to full use today. Korber with a wide stance on that serve, maybe trying to get a little extra angle and hit a powerful slice to the right of his opponent. It's a short second serve, caught his opponent somewhat unawares, and gave Weston a free point. You have a chance to take the team win in singles play, Jake. You never want to leave things hanging. You just never know what can happen in the doubles, and let's hope we can get one right here.
Merrimack's currently having a score of 1 and Concord 5.
I think 4 at the moment. Looking
to be 5.
Looking to be 5. And a nice baseline rally there. Strong play at the number 6 position from both teams. As we have some action from number 6 singles being played on court 5, with the Little League players in the background. Bishop Brady girls tennis playing a home match on the adjacent tier of courts. Concord High girls are at Merrimack today, I believe, and will be looking to get their second win of the season. Maybe looking to get an extra ball now, or not completely certain what the delay is for, but we'll resume quickly, I'm sure. Meanwhile, some rallying on the other courts as I think players are getting ready for the doubles, or maybe just getting some hitting time in before the double starts. Concord High, Jake really showing an impressive ability to adjust mid-match on some of these singles courts, and it made a difference.
The adaptability seems to be very key being able to play each of the serves, but also to outwit your opponent. It's a very key ingredient in order to be a good winning strategy when it comes to these matches.
All right, Weston Corber is back at the baseline, ready to serve, and again, serve is relatively short in the box, and those can be difficult to return if they're not expected. And again, a sloppy mistake from the Merrimack player as really at the high school level, Jake, on almost every court, unforced errors can be very costly. So Weston, it looks like, got a split of those two games, and he was already well out in front, so puts him up 4-1 with Merrimack now serving from the far end. Good deep serve there, and Weston with a deep shot. That serve may have been long. Again, a low serve. Weston does a nice job moving up quickly to return it. And keeping the ball in play. Once again, Merrimack was a little trouble controlling their ground strokes as the wind has picked up at Memorial Field. Always a characteristic of the facility here on Fruit Street, and Concord High, with the ability to practice here every day, that will certainly work to their advantage if the wind picks up even more. Anytime you get a chance to be on the court in a high school varsity match, it's meaningful, and the kids are trying to maximize that. Looks like a little bit of a close call there, taken by the Tomahawk. but I'm sure Weston will get right back out there and reset. Just a little bit, a little too ambitious with that backhand. Looks like the doubles are getting warmed up, and court two, number 2 doubles with Sirianna and Cooper has already begun, and on court 3, Oliver Quinn and Bennett Sear, sophomore, double specialist, are still getting some reps in before they spin the racket. Meanwhile, Rotundi has had a stretch of inspired play here at the number 6 position, and Weston Corber just looking to steady down a little bit, but can be difficult on a windy day to control those ground strokes, and he just went through a little bit of a rough patch there as the Merrimack player held serve to pull within 2-4 in this 8-game set. That's a service winner from Corber. That's a good backhand there. Gets it nice and deep, and anytime you've got your opponent hitting off their back foot, you know you're in an advantageous position, and that proved to be the case for Weston there. Again, drawing the mistake with steady play. Always good to see. Concord on every one of their singles wins has just been slightly more consistent than their opponents, and Weston is adhering to that pattern thus far, up by a break in a competitive singles encounter. Looks like we're getting ready for doubles action, Jake, so we will continue to report on Weston, but from afar as we put the camera on the numbers 1 and 2 doubles match. At number 1, we've got Carter Pratt and Martin Pennington for Concord High, taking on Agapov, and it looks like Satapan, the number 4 for Merrimack. So there's definitely a player they can take advantage of there. Hopefully they'll capitalize. On court 2, Sirianna and Cooper for the tide. A tough number 2 team there are facing Merrimack's Nigan and Alexander, numbers 2 and 3. So at least on paper, that looks like a pretty close and competitive matchup. And on court 3 doubles, Goldberg and what may be a sub for Merrimack are playing against Bennett Sear and Oliver Quinn. One love for Concord on courts 2 and 3, and the action just kicking off on court 1. as we watch a nice forehand return cross court by Carter Pratt, as he is serving to begin this doubles match. There are 3 varsity doubles, making up a third of the 9 total matches. We'll also likely see some exhibition matches for the kids lower down the ladder to get some experience today. Concord this year has a number of subs, and that certainly bodes well for the program in future years. All right, so Concord has won the first game in all 3 doubles matches now, and looking to garner a sweep of the doubles.
Very promising. Very promising start.
Agapov for Merrimack serving now to Pennington on the deuce court. Martin with a real nice forehand return, and they take the point quickly. Meanwhile, Sirianna, aggressive at the net, courteously avoids hitting his opponent who had not cleared out of the way, and it's good to see active net play in the doubles, Jake.
I definitely see it's going to be a good matchup on the second course, just because of how both players have different play styles, as to one being more patient and defensive and like to find exploitations in their opponents and their weaknesses, whereas we have our other player who's very offensive, who likes to get aggressive into the other player's court. Both be working against each other's weaknesses to make them their advantages, and it looks like if both work together in a coherent team, they can really get some good score under their belt before Merrimack has an advantage to counter.
Well said. Oftentimes the best doubles teams have players with complementary styles, and that certainly seems to be the case with Sirianna and Cooper on court 2. Oh, good attempt there from Carter Pratt on the low volley. Those are never easy to pick up, and he came close. Little action on court 2 with Sirianna playing the net, looking for the ball, which you always like to see from the net man. And it pays off as a mistake from the tomahawk.
Almost hit his own player.
Big serve from Agapov, and Martin Pennington did well to put the backhand return near the double sideline and just narrowly missed. Meanwhile, changing sides on court 2, and Sirianna and Cooper off to a flying start, having won all 3 of the opening games. To Richie Clark's contentment as he greets them, making the change of sides.
Again, when one player is playing to the other's disadvantages and vice versa, you can get a really good matchup between 2 players who really know how to use each other's weaknesses and make them their advantages. And that really helps, especially with chemistry between both players, being able to, in most cases, overpower the strategy that the other opponent might have. So they're doing very good with that, and we're hoping that they continue that strategy as they move forward.
Martin Pennington with a really nice inside-out backhand return on court 1 may have given Concord a break point, and a little bit of a close call there, and goes Concord's way, and 2-love for the Crimson Tide on D1. Nice serve from Merrimack on court 2. And Concord scrambling there, but just unable to convert as the wind picked up, and really midpoint on that one. Really tough to control the service toss in this type of wind. Most of the day, very little of it, but hard to go a spring day at Memorial Field without wind, and it's compensating now for the earlier calm.
It's currently blowing against Merrimack, which I would imagine would make Concord's serves probably a little bit more powerful as opposed to Merrimack's, and that's just because of the wind direction.
Very nice return from Cooper down the line on court 2. Difficult to handle for the opposing netman, and that set up an offensive situation and led to a win at that point. Merrimack comes back though with a nice first serve there. So back and forth on court 2. Pennington serving on court 1. Nice deep serve to the backhand. And coming in, staying back and rallying steadily. Carter intervenes at the perfect time with a nice poached backhand volley winner. So that is good doubles, looking to cut the ball off at the net, and good teamwork, good leadership from Carter Pratt, the Tide senior captain, and Concord High is up now 3-love at the number 1 doubles position, as well as at number 2, as Concord trying a little I formation here with Siriana serving, and Cooper playing on the same, or even almost an Australian formation there. May want to move forward just a little bit, but good to see them trying different formations. That's a nice first serve. Not sure what the call was. And maybe the players aren't sure either, but they'll figure it out. Meanwhile, Sadapan of Merrimack is serving at love 3 on the number 1 doubles match. Just looking down quickly at Weston Korber after a long couple of games. He is finally switched sides, and with an important hold to go up 5-2. And so we will bring updates periodically from that match, but again focusing on those top 2 doubles. Meanwhile, on court 3, Sear and Quinn are in a back and forth encounter, and currently Merrimack is up 2-1 and serving. But in high school doubles, the serve is not always an advantage. So Concord is right in the thick of things there. That's a good deep second serve. Pennington just tees off on it, and that is a terrific cross-court return, and just too much for the Tomahawk to handle. Court 2, meanwhile, Cooper looking for the ball at the net and angles away a very precise volley winner. Again, the Concord duo just a little bit more aggressive in looking for the ball at the net, and it paid dividends there.
Yeah, the synergy between those two they're really helping each other's strategy.
Yeah, you can really feel the good vibes emanating between those two, and the result has been nothing short of spectacular thus far. Meanwhile, I believe Concord is now up 4-love on the number 1 match, if I'm not mistaken, and Carter Pratt back serving from the far end. Does not have the sun to worry about on that end, but maybe the wind is a little trickier. So there are pros and cons to both locations. That's a great serve, and Merrimack did well to get it back, and big overhead there out of Agapov. It's a solid #1 player. He may want to try to become a little more active in dictating play. His partner seems to be having a little more difficulty adjusting to the pace of shot at the D1 position.
I think the problem too is I think Agamenon was good in his singles, and I think it's just a matter of trying to adjust for the doubles.
And for Carter Pratt, you got to give him a lot of credit. Couldn't quite pull out the singles win, and it always feels good to be able to get a win in doubles against somebody who's beaten you in singles. Get that revenge, and you leave the courts really on a high.
Definitely using his leadership to his advantage with the doubles, that's for sure.
Let's take a look now here. Carter uncorks a heavy serve, just a little bit long. And the second one was closer, but still might want a little more margin there, closer to the middle of the box. As Concord did drop that game, but they're still well in control of this match. The contested rallies are going in their favor far more often than not, Jake.
As far as score-wise, looks like Court 1 and Court 2 are pretty neck and neck.
Both with Concord in control with 4-1, and Richie Clark talking to Cooper and Siriana on their changeover, and it's good to see, even with a solid lead, it's still working on things. You can always get better, and Concord will need to keep improving to be competitive down the stretch and push for a playoff spot.
There's always room for improvement. Let's see. Looks like score's changing up on Court 5.
Weston Korber has run off 2 consecutive games and now has gone up 7-2 in this 8-game set. So
Again, done really well for himself.
Again, they had a series of long games, so it's to Weston's credit that he was able to adjust and run off some games in a row, and now it is an uphill climb for the opponent from Merrimack, Rotunde, to work his way back into that match, and that would be the 5th point, giving Concord High the team win today, if Korber is able to convert that final game. Cooper with getting a little enthusiastic with that return and just miss, but you'd like to see doubles teams playing aggressively, and they've done that well thus far, as Carter Pratt unleashes a forehand blast that the Merrimack player simply could not handle. Getting the ball like that at close range is difficult, for any player. Did well to get his racket on it.
Looks like game 3 is still pretty close.
We see a big reflex volley from Bennett Sear, or rather we don't see, but I'm telling you, and and Concord wins the point. So may have some bonus coverage of that match later, as it looks to be hotly contested.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, on D2, Siriana trying to slice the forehand return, and didn't quite have his weight behind it, and Merrimack takes the point. Not sure of the result there in the Merrimack service game. But we've got Martin Pennington up to the baseline now, and taking his turn to put the ball in play.
Have a good night, Charlie. Have a good night. Absolutely. Yeah, Charlie Russell, I believe, just finished recording for the softball game that we had today as well. Going on back to back with our tennis matches today.
Not sure of the result, but I know Concord High is having a terrific season once again in girls softball, and I'm sure, Jake, you'll be bringing a lot of action.
They did a very good job their last game. Was there and they recorded it. Did a very good job.
Big ground stroke there from Merrimack, and Carter Pratt unable to volley it back, so a little bit of a hole here for Martin. Let's see if he can climb out. Toss a little bit behind him. May have wanted to catch that, but you're always reluctant to interrupt play and try to be courteous. That's a nice second serve. Heavy forehand. Let's see if Carter can intercept it. And again, just slightly mishit, but they communicate well on the switch. And Pennington with a big smash. Once again, the point extends. This is a high-level high school point, and ends with Merrimack netting the forehand. That is terrific tennis on both sides, and a hard-earned point for Concord High as they look to work their way back on Pennington's serve.
Again, very good teamwork with those two on Concord.
Looks like Weston Corber's exited the court here.
Seems to be he's won his game, which is fantastic.
So that has put this match in the books for Concord High. 5-1 they lead the Merrimack Tomahawks after the singles portion of today's match, and always nice to wrap up a match in singles.
Hope they can pull out a win for the doubles as well.
Doubles, as the season progresses, will become increasingly important as the matches get close, and I know Kevin Parsons and Richie Clark would be thrilled to see a sweep here and building some strong habits and good teamwork. Meanwhile, in court one, Pennington just missing the serve. Cooper with a nice move covering the volley on court two. This is his opponent tried to surprise him down the line. And there it is, finding the open space. Always a smart play to make your opponent run, and did that very well.
Very good. Again, exploiting the weakness of your opponent is very important, especially in doubles, because of the difficulty has definitely risen when you have two players to deal with, not just one on the opposing team, but also the fact that he was able to do that while they were in serve.
Nice second serve from Martin on court one, and big forehand from Merrimack has gained them that point. Cooper covering the net aggressively, and
There we go.
unfortunately, when the man's right on top of the net, he's got a lot to work with there if you hit the ball right at him. And
Fortunately, the same strategy can work both ways.
absolutely, and indeed we've seen a lot of aggressive net play from Concord High this afternoon. Merrimack that time gave them a bit of a taste of their own medicine. Nice half volley from Carter Pratt with a positive result. That's not an easy ball. He made it look easy, and Martin maybe back to deuce.
Example for showing of his skill.
Oh, that is a terrific Down the line backhand by Merrimack, Nigan, I believe, and I think he held serve with that shot, pulling Merrimack to within 4-2 after a lengthy game. Carter with a nice forehand there, which Agapov just unable to control off the backhand volley. Most players a little bit stronger on the forehand volley than the backhand side, and it's never a bad idea to drive the ball at that backhand volley, Jake. That is a nice point there with Pennington finding the weaker player and pinning him in the back of the court. And he's able to hold serve despite being down the early part of that game. That was a big hold, Jake, and puts Concord up 6-1.
Yeah, they did fantastic. It's a good. The key to their success has been the good synergy between both players.
A short serve there. Cooper gets away with it, though, as the forehand return goes awry, and he'll look to capitalize on that break. 6-1 Concord on the number 1 doubles. 4-2 Concord with Cooper serving at number 2, and Concord trailing for the moment 1-4 with Sear and Quinn on the court 3 match. But I'm sure a comeback is in the works there. We'll probably go there after the earlier matches conclude. Carter Pratt with a big forehand return, and Pennington puts the high volley into the open space. That is well done on both players' count, and that's good doubles there, Jake.
Absolutely. That is a prime example of good doubles right there.
That is, big return. Caught Cooper in a tough spot, but he shrugs it off in good grace, and goes right back up to the line. Pratt with a big return again, and Merrimack with the counter down the line. That was nearly unreturnable. Nice volley on court 2 from the Merrimack player again. Very close to the net, and is able to direct his volley into the open spot. Carter Pratt with some volleying magic there. That is just making it look easy with a low volley. Carter's really controlling this match, and Martin Pennington contributing some nice forehands and volleys of his own, making for a difficult matchup for the still developing Tomahawk duo.
Yeah, I think it definitely shows when Carter was doing his singles, it was kind of difficult to try and have them match to match since they're so evenly matched when they're doing one-on-ones. But when it comes to doubles, he's definitely showing his more ace in the hole as opposed to his opponent.
Doubles is a game that you can really work on in practice, and you can tell that Kevin Parsons and Richie Clark are spending a lot of time on doubles, promoting the teamwork. Still like to see them get into net as a duo a little more often, perhaps, but I've seen a lot of progress throughout the season. And Cooper there with a nice forehand handcuffs Nigan at the net. Nice hold to serve here would be important, as would put them up 5-2 as opposed to being back on serve at 4-3. As Pennington with a nice volley there again, looking for his opportunities at the net and finishing them aggressively. Just an update quickly from Court 3. Oliver Quinn and Bennett Sear have pulled closer. Was 1-4 and now it's 3-4, and so looking to continue that momentum as play picks up once again. Carter Pratt with a nice serve, good return from the tomahawk. Carter just uncorks another huge forehand. He is really hitting his forehand well in the doubles match today, and I think we've got 7-2 now with Concord on top, and we'll look to break for the match. Cooper with a big first serve there, and then maybe didn't quite set his feet before the second, and he'll take a little extra time here, I'm sure, and reset. Well, we'll get plenty of action from those courts, I'm sure. So let's focus now on the number one doubles, Jake, as Merrimack serving at 2-7. Looks like the Tomahawks are going to the two-back formation, just an indicator that they are unable to volley effectively against the weight of shot that Concord High is bringing to the table here. Double fault on the opening point. Love 15. Agapov with a real nice serve there, and it's 15 all. Another good serve, but Pennington with a nice cross-court forehand, and a little bit impatient from Merrimack. Concord working the rally well, but with high percentage play. So 15-30. Concord 2 points away from a big win at number one doubles, which I think will open some eyes around the state. If this scoreline holds.
Looks like doubles for both second and third court. They're very close as far as scoring, so it's going to probably be a very close match between the two.
A nice heavy ground stroke there, and back to 30 all now on court one. You know, always nice to break serve for the win when you can, Jake, because it comes back to having to hold. You just never know. Agapov looking at a second serve now as his partner encourages him and places it well, but unable to make that volley. And now I believe we're at match point, 30-40. So let's see if Carter's got a good return here to take this match. Second serve, so he'll have an opportunity. And certainly went for it, and may have called the serve out. I think it was out, but hard to fault him for wanting to have one last swing there. And Pennington and Pratt have prevailed 8-2, Jake, with a dominant win at the number one doubles position.
Again, the two of them working together hand in hand, their synergy together, their teamwork is really, it's not only shown in the court, but it's paid off in their strategy.
Maybe we can get some bonus coverage now of the second and third doubles matches. So Concord High is up 6-1 now with just a big result against Merrimack, trying to equal the earlier encounter when they won 8-1 in this same matchup. Concord adding Merrimack a second time because another scheduled opponent dropped their program right before the season started. So now we've still got number 2 and number 3 doubles still taking place. Merrimack has drawn closer at number 2, serving at 3-4, and Concord trailed 4-3 at the last changeover on number 3. Not quite sure where they are serve-wise for that, but we'll find out. Quinn with a double fault there. That's a good second serve from, maybe just missed from Merrimack. Good volley. Nicely placed from Cooper as he hit it at the net man, sort of took him out of the play, and then had an open court for his next shot. Short ball there. Tomahawk didn't do a lot with that volley. Cooper nearly got it back, but Cooper again powers the forehand return, running around his backhand to go down the line for a winning return. Closely contested number 2 doubles match here, and would be nice for Concord to keep its momentum going with a win in this match. It's a nice heavy return, and see if Carl can get back into the play. He does very nicely. Good footwork, and a deep shot. That is not easy to do, and good court coverage, and Merrimack maybe not quite aggressive enough to cut that ball off when they were in a commanding position. Cooper again, just a heavy return. That Merrimack netman may want to get back to the baseline on him. Just some weak serves there, and it's tough to volley them when they're coming at you into the wind. So an important break of serve there for Concord, and they go up 5-3 now with Carlos Siriana serving. Meanwhile, on court 3, Merrimack has run out a couple of games in a row and leads 6-3 against Bennett Sear and Oliver Quinn. Big serve from Siriana, but a nice return. Cooper using all of his frame there to direct a winning volley. And again, you can see Concord just a little more aggressive to the ball at the net, whereas Merrimack kind of letting a lot go that maybe they are capable of cutting off.
Very consistent too. Concord.
30-15, Siriana serving. Both he and Cooper have strong first serves, and Carl with some spin on the second. Cooper's is a little slower paced, but very consistent. So they make a nice team. When you have two different serves come in, it's tough for the opponents to get much of a read. And again, Sirianna with a very nice serve out wide, and Cooper was ready to put away that reply with another nice volley. So good two-game run there for the Tide. Puts them up 6-3. And now they'll have to control their shots with the wind behind them a little bit more, but certainly capable of doing just that. Concord assistant coach Richie Clark is making sure the kids stay focused. It's a 6-3 match, but been a lot of back and forth, and certainly far from over. Concord with some good spirit behind the court. We have a larger than usual crowd here at the field, and certainly only expect that to grow as the weather continues to get nicer, Jake. Anyway, Nigan is up to the line now for Merrimack, and gets a good serve. Oh, let as it ticks the net cord on the way through. Oh. Sirianna just has to adjust his swing a little bit. When you got the wind behind you, you don't want to aim as deep in the court, and try to get a hard shot but shorter and let the wind carry it. He'll find the range. Nice serve from Merrimack there. Cooper with a strong return, and Carl had a good opportunity with that overhead. Didn't miss by much. Yeah, 30 love, and Carl with a nice backhand slice. And Cooper again using that vertical to good effect as he puts away the winning volley from a position that could have been challenging for some. So 15-30. Or 30-15 rather. Merrimack in front. And that man assuming the position at the net. And this time, Carl again. I like to see Carl going for the volley, and just a little harder to control from that side. So 40-15 for the Tomahawks. That's a nice controlled return there. And finds the line, and Cooper again with some volley magic. Little improvisation with the frame directly in front of him, and he did it well. So 40-30. Meanwhile, Sierra and Quinn
looks like they're still in the game.
Had the wind behind him, and won 2 consecutive games to pull within 5-6. So we'll be following the conclusion of that match, I'm sure.
Still anyone's game.
And that's the case on both of these courts, really, Jake. With Nigan serving at 40-30 now. Looking for an important hold. Cooper goes cross court. And that's going to be tough to control Lobbing with the wind behind you is never easy, and it just drifted a little bit long, giving Merrimack the game. But 6-4 now, Cooper will be serving. And with that big first serve, if he can get it in with a little wind at his back, that's going to be trouble for the Tomahawks. Sear and Quinn, meanwhile, down 5-6, but looking to break serve here and draw even. Concord leading the overall team score by 6-1. These are the final two doubles matches of the day finishing up, and our Concord TV camera is capturing Court 2 with Carl Siriana and Piper Cooper.
As well as Court 3.
And Court 3 with Bennett Sear and Oliver Quinn. Cooper with a second serve and then a lob. Merrimack with a big overhead and does not convert. So maybe we would have wanted to rein that in just a little bit. They were in control of the point there, but we'll take it from a Concord perspective, Jake. Cooper wisely catches that toss. And top of the tape on the first serve. Very consistent second serve.
You know, he's been aggressive in this double more than anything else.
Nice deep return. Siriana with a nice pickup, though. And now the Tide coming to the net. And I like that. I like that aggressive play. Maybe a little more control on the overhead. Had a lot of open space there. It's not easy to see when you're in the process of hitting the overhead. But Merrimack had left that whole side uncovered. All right. Cooper's back up to the line. And we'll have a second serve now. Merrimack still serving.
Might be miscalculating how much the wind is actually helping him here.
Merrimack still serving in the third doubles match. Siriano working his way in, and a little wild there, but again they're looking for the ball at the net, and that's what you like to see. Oliver Quinn on third doubles with a nice volley winner into the open core, and that important game is back to deuce. Siriana with some English there on that return, and dropped it in, and the Tomahawks could do nothing about it. That's a nice return from Oliver Quinn on third doubles. He's gotten Concord a break point. Merrimack player there just did not get his racket up. And when you're hitting it from stomach height, it's never easy.
Especially when you're that close to the tape.
So Cooper serving in this important 6-4 game, and the Tide have caught a couple breaks from unforced errors. Looks like they're back to deuce. Meanwhile, Quinn serving at 6-all on court 3 as he and Sear attempt to cap off what would be a real nice comeback win. Good control there from Cooper. Very effective lobber, and the Merrimack player again mishitting the volley. But it was, the error was drawn by some nice consistent play. Cooper with a big serve, and really finishes off that game nicely, winning with the wind behind them, which has not been a feature of either team in this match, and that was an important game, putting Concord up 7-4 at this point, with Merrimack getting ready to serve after the changeover. So Concord High just one game away, and you can hear the crowd getting into it as they often do when victory is near. We'll peek in on Sear and Quinn now. Quinn is serving the important 6-all game, and Bennett Sear with a nice drop volley into the open court has propelled Concord to a hold and put them up 7-6 on third doubles. So some clutch play there from Concord High, as they have won 4 consecutive games now.
Still anyone's game, but they're doing really good.
Alexander for Merrimack now serving at 4-7, and gets a real nice serve there that Siriana is not able to return. 15-love. That's another good serve, and again a good first serve puts them in control of the point, and they're able to convert it from there. 30-love with the Tomahawks in control. Nice approach there on the return, and Concord had a wall up there and at the net, and could not be penetrated. So a nice return point there. 30-15 now. Alexander gets a good second serve, and Cooper really teeing off, as he's done successfully many times today. This time just overhitting slightly. So 40-15. Siriano with a nice slice, and again Alexander just missing the reply. 40-30. Third doubles, Oliver Quinn with a beautiful volley, and I think that has given Concord High the win, as he just, I don't know if the fans couldn't see, but that was, his opponent had a clear put away, and Oliver just took the volley and put it into the open court for an emotional win on third doubles. 8-6 with Bennett Sear, as this is a new team after the departure of the previous one of the previous D3 players. So all right, now while we were there celebrating that important win, Merrimack held, so they have pulled to within 7-5, and Carlos Siriano looking to slam the door shut now with a nice first serve, and the return just caught Cooper backing up slightly there. Love 15. So hoping to hold serve for the match, serving into the sun, the setting sun now, which is always a little bit more of a factor. It's like had the return there, and great first serve. A little bit of confusion about the call. Merrimack has been very good on the sportsmanship all day long, and they were again there. giving them a close call. So 15 all. Sirianna mixing it up with the underhand serve, which sometimes can be effective if used in the right way, but a little bit of an overhit forehand there. Just cooked it a little too much, and 15-30. So this match still very much alive here, as the Merrimack team really showing a lot of spirit and good steady play. Concord aggressive and occasionally a few too many errors, but the aggressive play is welcome nonetheless, Jake. The double fault there, and puts Concord in a hole. 15-40 now. Is looking to come back. Always rewarding if you can come back and win that last service game. Hope the second serve is up to the task here. And so it is, and Carl just unleashes that forehand down the line. The Merrimack player was just not ready to defend it, and to give credit where it's due, it would have been difficult to defend for just about anybody when he hits the ball like that. 30-40, again going for the big serve, and but the second is just a little bit off, and so Merrimack gets both of those games there with the win behind them. Not easy to do, but just a few too many mistakes from Concord, and now it's going to be Merrimack serving at 6-7. So Concord looking to get some good returns and clinch the match. Just need to get this next game, but if we go to 7-all, you'll have to win by 2 with a tiebreaker at 8-all, and we may be there realistically, but looked like some confusion with the score. By my count up here, it is correct at 7-6 for Concord. But we'll see what the players decide. It's up to the guys on the court to settle it, and I'm sure they're going to be able to do just that. And indeed, we're going to be getting that switch. Nigan and Merrimack will be serving. And the wind has died down. Not completely gone, but for Memorial Field, it's pretty light right now. Making a little Merrimack taking some time here. They are entitled to coach on the changeovers and even during play, as long as the action is not unduly interrupted. So the Merrimack coaching staff taking an important opportunity there to impart some advice. And now Nigan serving at 6-7. They want to get that ball toss up just a little bit. And indeed he does there. And Sirianna missing the return. When you've got a guy at the net that doesn't look comfortable, you really want to make sure he has to volley the ball. And we didn't do that there. But it's only 15-love, and Cooper now with a nice return, and a little bit of confusion in the Merrimack ranks there, and Concord capitalizes 15-all. Good cut at that first serve, just a little bit long. That's a nice steady return there, and rolled it nice and deep. And Cooper at the net once again with that.
Very good at capitalizing on those moments.
Got that slightly unorthodox two-hand volley technique, but certainly gets the direction he wants out of it. And Sirianna now ripping a return, or Cooper rather, ripping a return. Sirianna with a big put away there as he gets that overhead to go. And 15-40, we're looking at double match point here, Jake.
This could be a deciding factor.
Nice slice return from Sirianna. Cooper looking for the poach, but Merrimack avoids him. And then finding the backhand, and with a nicely directed volley and an 8-6 win for Concord High in a well-played doubles match here at Memorial Field, as the fans let the Tide know that they have had a job well done here today with an overall result of 8-1 in favor of Concord over the visiting Tomahawks from Merrimack. So Concord High with a big win, which has put them right in the thick of the playoff chase here, Jake. And we'll wait and see in the coming matches if they're able to garner one of those top 12 positions to qualify for the tournament after a one-year absence. So we will perhaps be broadcasting further Concord High matches. Again, Concord winning the numbers 2 through 6 singles positions today after a narrow defeat at number 1, and coming back to sweep the doubles with some good teamwork and aggressive play. We can really see the improvement of the Tide in the returning and the volleys and the teamwork. And just a lot of good things here on display, Jake, for the Tide.
Synergy played out here today was definitely one of their biggest strong suits. It's shown. It's really shown out there on the field.
So Concord High with another nice win here, and building some momentum for the stretch run after beating Merrimack for the second time this season. And to give Merrimack credit, very good sportsmanship, no issues of any kind on any of the courts, and we wish them the best the rest of the way, and look forward to continued progress from the Tide. But Memorial Field here has seen a Concord triumph here as the Tide rolled in over the Tomahawks with an 8-1 final count. So Jake, do you have any final thoughts here today?
I hope everybody has a restful rest of their day, and thank you for tuning in.
Signing off from Memorial Field, thank you everybody, and good afternoon.